that particular day, my buddy Neil had just been appointed the head of the New York Port Authority, my fraternity brother, and we had just been in contact for the first time in 20-some years prior to that, and I knew that he worked at the World Trade Center. And my thought was, okay, it happened early enough. He's the boss. Please don't go to work early. But apparently he was up in the restaurant when that all happened. And so I never got a chance to see Neil. I believe he would have been governor of New York by now had he lived. I really do.
Joe Maddon remembering one of the almost 3,000 people who died in the 9/11 attacks. Sports played an important role in the nation's healing 14 years ago. Didn't hear folks saying, are you a Cubs or a White Sox fan? The Bears-Packers rivalry paled in comparison to the patriotism that reverberated across this country. The White Sox were in Manhattan, just a few blocks away from Ground Zero that fateful morning.
I remember at that time, that's, I guess, the first time that I actually thought that we were going to die.
Millions of people all thinking about the same thing at one time. It's a very odd feeling.
It was tough times for for a long time in New York.
It was obviously something you'll never forget because of what happened to our country.
It was supposed to be an ordinary late summer day in New York City, capped off by a baseball game that night in the Bronx between the White Sox and Yankees. But on that Tuesday morning, the blue skies of lower Manhattan were darkened by a living nightmare at the World Trade Center and the horror of a nation under attack.
We were about 3 miles away, and but just woke up to, obviously kind of a panic in the streets and alarms going off at the hotel.
I just looked up at that second floor window waiting to see the building next to us just falling over and gonna, kill everybody. So I think that was the first time that I was actually kind of like, thought, obviously we weren't gonna live.
6 days after the attacks, baseball was back in business. And on that following night, September 18th, the White Sox and Yankees resumed play here on the South Side. The Yankees won the game, but the score was secondary. It was the first sporting event in Chicago since 9/11, and a passionate crowd showed its vigilance and the resolve of America.
There's a big sign on the field that said, Chicago loves New York. I will never forget that. I think it was just very, very exciting time for people to see baseball again.
It seemed like even people that hated the Yankees were almost pulling for New York, so to speak. So yeah, I'm sure there were fans that wanted us to lose, but it seemed like there were a lot less boos and a lot less hatred towards our team at that point. I think one thing that you appreciate is you appreciate the freedom that we have in our country. It was an unfortunate event, but it opened a lot of eyes.
There have been two defining moments: Vietnam and 9/11. They changed the face of this culture and changed our lives forever.
The White Sox bust back to Chicago on September 12th, and as you heard Chuck say, join the rest of the big leagues in aiding that healing process some 6 days later when they hosted the Yankees on the South Side. Thank you for watching Sportsnet Central, presented by GMC. I am Pat Boyle. Our top stories: the Cubs take 2 in Philadelphia. They are now 6 back of St. Louis in the Central Division, 2 games back of the Pirates for the top wild card spot. Well, Game 3 of that series in Philadelphia tomorrow, right here on CSN. Our coverage begins at 5:30. High School Lights with Chris Bowden is coming your way next.